Have you ever stopped to think about why we call it a dollar? It's such a normal word that we barely notice it. You pay your bills in dollars, earn dollars, even dream of making more dollars. But where did that name actually come from? It's used all over the world. The United States, Canada, Australia, Singapore, the list goes on. Yet the story behind the word isn't just American. It's a fascinating mix of European silver mines, Spanish ships, and centuries of trade that shaped the modern world. So today, we're diving deep into the surprising history behind one of the most recognized words on the planet. Why is it called a dollar? Let's find out right here on History of Simple Things. Our story begins not in the US, but in a small valley in what's now the Czech Republic. Back in the early 1500s, there was a town called Joachimsthal, which literally means Joachim's Valley. In that valley, rich silver mines were discovered, and soon people started minting large silver coins there. They called these coins Joachimsthalers, but that's a mouthful, so people shortened it to just Thaler. The Thaler became so popular that it spread all across Europe, kind of like how everyone suddenly had a fidget spinner in 2017. The coin was known for its consistent silver content, which made it reliable and trustworthy, something that other currencies at the time struggled with. Over time, the word Thaler evolved as it traveled between languages. The Dutch called it dollar. The English, doing what they do best, simplifying foreign words, eventually turned that into dollar. So the word dollar isn't American at all. It's European, and it's basically just a linguistic game of telephone that lasted centuries. Now that we know where the word came from, let's talk about the coin that actually became the dollar. During the 1500s and 1600s, Spain was one of the richest empires in the world, thanks to its colonies in the Americas. Ships loaded with silver sailed from the New World to Europe, and that silver was turned into Spanish coins called pieces of 8, or more officially, the Spanish milled dollar. These coins were everywhere: Europe, Asia, the Americas. They became the first truly global currency, because you could use them pretty much anywhere. They even had that cool, satisfying ring when you dropped them on a table. The Spanish dollar was so well made and consistent in weight and silver purity that other countries trusted it more than their own money. In the American colonies, long before the US existed, people used Spanish dollars in daily trade. So, even though dollar came from a European word, it was the Spanish coin that made it famous around the world. Life in the early American colonies was tough, especially when it came to money. British coins were rare because the crown didn't really send much currency overseas. So, colonists got creative. They bartered goods, used tobacco as currency in some places, and relied heavily on those Spanish silver coins, because they were everywhere, and more importantly, trusted. Colonial shopkeepers would often refer to prices in dollars, even though there was no official American dollar yet. It was just a convenient name everyone understood, borrowed from the Spanish coin they were already using. You could say that by the time America became independent, the word dollar was already baked into everyday language. It wasn't a patriotic invention, it was a practical one. Fast forward to 1792. The American Revolution was over, and the new United States needed its own currency system. The problem was, what should they call it? They could have gone with pound to keep things British, or eagle to sound bold and new. But the term dollar already had recognition and trust. everyone knew what a dollar meant, thanks to centuries of Spanish and European influence. So, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1792, officially adopting the dollar as the basic unit of money for the United States. They defined it based on a specific weight of silver, basically copying the Spanish milled dollar. And just like that, the US dollar was born, not as a symbol of rebellion, but as a smart choice rooted in global trade and practicality. The first American silver dollar coins looked remarkably similar to the Spanish ones too, which helped people trust and use them more easily. It wasn't about reinventing the wheel, it was about keeping the wheel rolling. The US dollar might have started locally, but it didn't stay that way for long. As America grew in power, so did its currency. By the 20th century, especially after World War II, the dollar became the world's dominant reserve currency. Other nations began pegging their money to it, trusting its stability, just like how people once trusted the old thalers and Spanish coins. But here's the fun twist. While the US dollar became the most famous one, it's not the only dollar out there. Countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Singapore, and even the Caribbean nations all use their own versions of the dollar. Some adopted it because of historical trade ties, others simply because the term dollar carried a sense of trust and familiarity. It became a brand in itself, a symbol of economic strength and modernity. So, the name that started in a tiny European valley ended up stamped on money used across the entire planet. So next time you hold a dollar bill, remember, you're not just holding money, you're holding history. From Joachimsthal's silver mines to Spanish treasure ships to American independence, the word dollar has traveled across continents and centuries. It's a reminder that even the simplest words in our everyday lives often carry stories much bigger than we think. So whether you're spending, saving, or just daydreaming about having more of them, at least now you know why it's called a dollar. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.